Once you arrive in the woods outside Billstown, there are a few things to be aware of in terms of supplies that will affect strategies that you might have going forward. First one is this modified upgraded melee weapon. If you do not pick it up here, then it respawns multiple times throughout Billstown. The last one being in the house where Frank is dead, and you can use it in that last encounter, which is when I like to pick it up. If you choose to pick it up before, obviously it won't spawn at that point, it only spawns the once. But yeah, that decision in terms of where you want to pick it up is up to you. But like I say, for me, the last encounter is the best in terms of when to use that.
Watch your step. It's a good
Secondly,
drop.
although they're not necessary to kill in order to progress, since they're here, we're going to talk a little bit about clickers and what to kill. We've already talked about the brick smash as a way to kill them, and I want to take this opportunity because there's two clickers in this area. We're going to talk about reusing the brick more than once. So the way the brick works is that it generally breaks when it kills an enemy. So in general terms, 3 smashes over the head. That's the only exception to that. Is if you were to do 3 smashes and the first one was to miss the enemy for some reason and the other 2 were to hit, it would then smash on the 3rd hit still, even if the enemy is still alive. But the fact that it doesn't break until the enemy is dead under it, as a general rule, means that we can reuse it. So, for example, as you saw there, I hit the clicker with the brick twice and then switched to my gun so that my next hit would be with a melee weapon, and the result was we still get to keep the brick and it can still be used again for a full 3 hits on an enemy. There's a bow and arrows here. If we pick up the arrows and don't pick up the bow and then move on, either because you're speedrunning and want to save time from the time that Joel takes to examine it, or simply because you forgot it for some reason, the arrow respawns in the bow respawns in Bill's safe house. This is another example where if you miss it the first time, it's not lost. Now, another way to kill clickers, if you need to kill a clicker and you don't have any weapons, let's say we've got no bullets and we've also got no brick, but we do have a melee weapon. Don't do this without a melee weapon. Now, if we run up to the clicker like this, you see it dies in up to 3 hits, sometimes in 2. On the other hand, if we hit it like so, it takes more hits of the pipe. So again, the ideal would be 2 hits, and 2 sprints at the clicker give you 2 hits. However, that's more for illustrative purposes for combat. You don't actually need to kill this clicker here. We can simply run past it. Then once we get to the trap mine area, ideally make sure that you go into the next encounter with a brick. As you can see here, we've not got any revolver bullets whatsoever. I didn't pick up the one that was outside, and I'm not going to pick up the ones that are in this drawer. And we're going to come out with 16 to 18 bullets. This is how. What it essentially boils down to is ammo manipulation. So
what just happened?
the general rules of this are
stupid traps.
In the time between the two phases, we need to
Here,
fully
bridge, it looks like that's a
empty
counterweight.
our revolver until the point where we cannot reload and it clicks because there's no rounds in the chamber. And then when Ellie gives us more ammo, we need to reload
Cut
both
that rope.
before and
We'll bring
after
it
the
down.
last killing shot that we fire that ends the encounter. So let's show that in practice. First of all, even though we've got no bullets, we can immediately
Here
reload
they
before
come.
Ellie throws us ammo. And that sound there was Ellie throwing us the ammo. Then we're going to shoot these guys. I know this part gives a lot of people anxiety, but the revolver is a one-hit kill on runners, so there is no need to worry too much. And then we're going to empty all 6 bullets. Fully reload again.
You all right?
Empty all 6 bullets.
Come on, you can do it.
And then as you can hear, the revolver's clicking and we won't reload.
Thanks.
So Ellie gives us more. Now, this works best if you don't miss any shots here, but if you do, it's not the end of the round. So let's see how we go.
It's not cutting.
Just hurry. Hurry, they're getting closer. Hell off, you son of a bitch!
We missed one shot,
Ellie, they're getting close.
so we reloaded early, but
Hey, over here!
we're going to reload before the last shot. And then we're going to reload again. There are a couple of misses there, but ideally if we hadn't missed it would have been better, but we should still have mostly the ammo we need. Like I say, the ideal is 18, sometimes it's 16, so let's see.
Get off your ass on your...
So there we go, we've got the full 18. And we can get away here. Now again,
Which way?
to escape this area, we don't want to use any of our resources, any of our bullets.
Run, Ellie.
Easiest way to do that
Guys behind us.
is we
Bill,
can
come on!
whack this runner,
Bill, they're coming to the door!
then we can whack the clicker and run past. And if for any reason you don't feel confident just whacking the clicker once, then whack it 3 times and kill it and run past. You can always pick up another brick, but that's the use of the brick there, and the reuse in line with what I showed earlier helps you to get through that area generally without damage and always without using any bullets. So we're aiming here to not use any revolver bullets until we get to the bloater. And as you can see, we can also pick up the bow there,
We're good.
so we haven't lost it.
She's
Going
busy.
into this next area, we should have a brick, but there's bottles we can pick up if we need them. What I'll tend to do here is come into the middle and throw our throwable at the car to lure. And then 2 pistol bullets take care of any stray runner. And then a throwable plus the pipe will take care of our clickers quickly. We don't have to worry about damage from the pipe because we can pick up a brand new one there. And then ideally make sure we have a brick ready as well.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as you've got a throwable to stun a clicker,
Bill?
make sure they're not too close to each other, which is why I waited until they'd separated. Then throw at one to stun it, and then hit it with the pipe, and then get another throwable and stun the clicker. And just for reference, there's another
Take the hell of a
upgraded
place
pipe
to
because we
hold
haven't
up,
picked it up yet. You'll see all the locations in this video. Even if I don't call them out, you'll see them on screen. Now, the first nail bomb that we get here from Bill, we are not going to use until we get to Pittsburgh. Although we do get the resources to craft a number of Molotovs and nail bombs, they are best. There are certain counters where they are best put to use, and we make absolute utility of how many we can get to minimize the number of enemies in particularly large encounters. So, as tempting as it might be to use in Bill's Town, for example, on the bloater, we want to avoid doing that if we can. And I'm going to show you how to get through the bloater easily without having to worry about using a Molotov or a nail bomb. In addition to that, as we go through, I'm going to show a couple of strategies for different areas, but the main ones that I'm going to show and the ones that I recommend trying to get used to will use shotgun ammo. Because the game at this point, particularly as you get up to the bloater, will generally try and keep you in about 3 to 4 shotgun shells from drops. So you don't have to worry, just as with the pistol at the start of the game, you don't have to worry too much about completely running out. It is possible, but there are ways around it. So, however, in the event that you don't feel confident dealing with clickers while loud, then you can use your arrows here. Take out these silently. You may or may not get the arrows back. That honestly comes down to chance. There are 2 clickers up at the top. And then it's worth noting that there are 3 in the next area, but there could be 6 if you alert those 3 and drag them up here before you have set your eyes on the middle area. Say if you went loud and they all came up here and you killed them all before you reached down, 3 more would spawn and you'd have to deal with 6 in that second area in total. So we want to avoid that, whichever strategy we use. So we make sure that we've set our eyes on this area. And again, we're just utilizing the arrows best we can. Once we've finished with them, and there's only 1 clicker left here. There's 2 in the bottom garden, and neither of them will hear us if we are in this area kind of sheltered. So we can wait for the next clicker to come around towards us. And then we can use the brick smash. And then you've got kind of 2 options here. If you want to, you can get one with an arrow and the other with a brick smash. Or you can brick smash one and then run back to where you can get a second brick. To get the other. And that's the encounter done.
That's it. Nothing clear yet.
Now, you bear in mind again, you may end up with no arrows as a result of this, which is less than ideal. Like I say, for the ammo that you will need for certain areas, I would highly recommend instead going with this strategy. Now, there are 4 shotgun rounds in the chamber.
I'm on it.
You're going to charge through, blast one, blast another, Blast the third. Blast the fourth. Brick smash the fifth. Grab another brick. Reload. If there are any drops, we can pick them up. If not, we've still got 2 bullets. And one other thing to note here as well, you'll notice that both of those clickers dropped bullets. As a general rule, unless you absolutely need to, don't pick up drops from enemies until the encounter's finished, because that's likely to get you more drops as a result. Because if you pick one up, then the amount of bullets you have to hand changes, and therefore the likelihood of drops changes. So if you wait until all the enemies are dead before picking up drops, you're likely to get more drops as a result.
Just move quiet.
In the next area,
Easy.
we don't need to bother killing those 2 enemies. We can kill this enemy
About this place, were you?
either by an arrow, or if you want to save the arrow, by strangling it. It really just depends on whether you've got a preference for speed or ammo conservation there. You can then get up to standing position. Once you get over here, you can afford to sprint a little way and then duck about by the car. Then I would recommend using an arrow to take care of that runner there.
This way. It's tied on the other side.
What about going through here?
What, the doggy door?
And then once you've sent Ellie through the dog
Of course.
flap, maybe you should have
then
Okay, Bill.
There's more of those clicker things inside the house.
you can come over and get 3 more arrows. Now, you can, if you're speed running, there's a way to run through here relatively safely. But assuming you don't want to do that, then from about the edge of this grass, start aiming as you're crouch walking. This allows you to maintain your speed without making more noise, and should allow you to sneak directly through here. There are shotgun shells in the room to the right with this clicker, but the trade-off in terms of use of an arrow or a shiv isn't necessarily worth it. Once you're through the door, you can stand up, and once you're outside,
Fucking creepy.
you can safely sprint.
I think we're good. We're all fine. Let's just keep going.
Again, if you wanted to hear, there is an upgraded melee weapon. But like I say, me personally, I choose not to have it till the end of the chapter. Now, in the next area, once we're outside the high school, there's an area where you can stealth, and there's an area where you're forced to go loud. It's both quicker and, in my view, easier to just go loud from the off, and to make use of your shotgun and rifle
There's that truck sticking out of the school right there.
as follows. So, start sprinting from up here. Go right past, these are the runners. Shotgun.
Coming from everywhere!
Pipe. And as you can see, we've got a couple of drops already that we're not going to pick up. We're going to switch to our rifle when we've got space. And what we're doing every time is we're not fighting where we stand. Once we've dealt with the runner, we will move on as fast as we can, give ourselves space, whether that's to switch weapons or to just circle back on them.
How do we get inside?
Every time we attack with the pipe, it's a swinging blow, so it brings them to their knees if they're at full health. Rather than having to hit them 4 times, we can hit them twice and kill them. And then we're not picking up the shotgun shells that are dropped until the end, because the result is then we go into the next area with 5. Now, the way in which the rest of the enemies after you've killed the initial 2 react can vary, and it does depend on
Killed up there.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill and Ellie's movement as much as their movement. But as long as you give yourself the space to switch to the rifle, use the rifle and keep moving. So if there are 2 by you, move around, give yourself a wide berth, and once you've hit one and killed it, like so, you then immediately sprint out of the way of any others that are nearby and allow yourself time to regroup rather than trying to fight on the one point. Keep moving, and it should generally go in your favor quite easily.
Shit, you hear that? They're coming. Move it, kid. All right. We're gonna get in quick. We're gonna get the battery. We're gonna get the hell out. Go, go, go! You two go! They're poking through.
And we are going to do the same again here. There are throwables around if you need them. But the main thing we want to do is kill this first clicker, kill the nearest runner, stun and kill the clicker, and then give ourselves the space to sprint and kill the last runners. If Bill doesn't take care of one of them, then you can still sprint punch. Without a melee weapon, it takes 2 sprint punches to knock a runner down to its knees. With a melee weapon, it takes 1. But again, the rule of giving yourself a wide berth there should see you through. Never let yourself get surrounded by them. And then in the next area, we can run past here and grab a snack if we need it. Go straight to the door with the brick. Smash the clicker. Pick up this bottle. Smash it on the runner's head to bring it instantly to its knees. And then deal with the other one. Now we get another bottle for the same purpose down the hall.
Back down this hallway.
And as you see there, Joel's... That's actually quite a good illustration that happened. Because that runner was shot, Joel missed the bottle swing.
It's clear.
And then I was stuck in the animation of him spinning it. And that's why the other runner was able to grab me. So it's worth being aware of that. Again, you can't predict when other characters will shoot enemies, but if you think you're not close enough, then doing a sprinting punch with the bottle does mean you don't get stuck in that animation loop and you can recover faster. And because we didn't pick up any of the ammo until the enemies were all dead, we now have 4 again quite easily, and we're ready to go into the bloater. Now with the bloater, there are a number of different ways you can do this. If for any reason you've gone in and you don't have anywhere near the amount of ammo that I have, then killing runners will make them drop ammo, and I'll show you that in a minute once we've done the main strap. But yeah, that'll make them drop ammo that you can then use against the bloater, as long as you keep your distance from the bloater, obviously. But if you're going in with revolver bullets, then 6 revolver bullets plus the additional ammunition of your choice will work. So we can either shoot it 3 times, throw a Molotov and shoot 3 more times. As long as 1 is a headshot, then that will kill it instantly. If 1's not a headshot, then it'll take a little bit longer to burn to death. Or we can shoot it 6 times and blast it a couple of times with a shotgun. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate here.
Help me open this.
All right, ready?
Come on. Shit. There's more on the way. Barricade the doors.
This ain't gonna hold him for long. Oh, that don't sound good.
Fuck is that?
Goddamn.
Oh, what?
Ellie, take cover.
I got 5 headshots there as it happened, so I didn't even need to use any shotgun ammo.
Ellie, just stay away from me.
And then you should get, ideally you get 2 revolver drops from the runners. If you don't, you should at least get shotgun
Been
drops,
infected for a long time.
and you'll get
We call
shotgun
them
drops
bloaters.
off the bloater itself.
Floater. Okay, got it.
I hate to interrupt your little biology lesson, but can we get the fuck out of here, please? Let's go, people.
All right.
And then
Here we go.
the next 3 enemies will appear when you get Bill and Ellie out the way.
All right, come on.
Easiest way to deal with the first 2 is to ideally get a double kill with the shotgun. If one of them is still alive, you should then be able to just punch it. And then if you don't want to use any bullets on the last one, 2 sprint punches and a kick. Now, using the game's encounters mode to demonstrate this, if you do not start with much ammo at all,
Keep an eye out.
then you can use whatever runners drop. If a bloke charges, get behind. Cover. Do not let it get close enough to you to punch. And then whenever you have the space,
Cover me.
just loot the corpses. And as long as you keep moving, then whatever is to hand should more than do. Out the back of the high school, up to 4 runners will come from the woods, but all we need to do essentially is maybe kill one,
Go. I'm right behind you.
and then loop around the others in order to get up the ladder. Finally, once you're ready to do the truck push,
More of my stuff.
there will be more shotgun bullets here for you. As you can see, we are extremely stacked with shotgun bullets.
So what?
This is where I'll take the upgraded melee weapon. And if you need it, there is also a snack here.
It's a good idea.
know when you're ready to finish this
Unless you
thing.
take
I'll
a
give you a holler.
hefty amount of damage, you should be able to heal
Ready?
when needed with just
All
snacks
right, let's do it.
in Billstown, because there are enough of them dotted around, and
Put her in first.
as long as you adhere to the strategies, then
Already did it.
you shouldn't take too much damage, even
Put
when
on the
you're
clutch.
being quite aggressive.
And when we get to...
I know how to pop a clutch.
So in this area, there
Now
are
hit it.
3 groups of infected that we need to deal with, each one with 1 clicker among them. So what we're going to be doing is a combination of using our shotgun, our melee weapon, and throwables, keeping ourselves moving so we don't get overwhelmed by any of them.
Shit.
And again, being always aware where the clicker is.
All right, we're good. Back to the truck.
Gotta go faster.
Look, if we just make it to the hill. Just get it over the edge.
With group number 2, 2 of them come from this bush. 3 even.
We don't have much time. Back to pushing.
You can get an extra shotgun shell from this police car. And there is a brick here. If we don't still have the baseball bat at this point, if it's broken, we can use the brick to smash the clicker. If we do have it, because of the closeness of the runners, it's safer to use it to throw and stun at the clicker, and then hit with the baseball bat. And as you see there, even when one gets close for a moment, you would take some damage. If there were a couple of them there, there was would be a chance of us getting overwhelmed. So when we've taken down one, we generally want to move and give ourselves space. And then what I'll do before we push the car down the hill is I will load up the weapons that I want for Pittsburgh. In this case, the rifle and the revolver, before we go.
All right, Ellie, get ready.
And then we can finally push
All right, Ellie, start it up.
and chase the car. And get out to Bill's
Sound,
town.
Bill?
Yeah, well, that means we back.
If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. Like the video that's just popped up, which YouTube thinks you should watch next. This is a Patreon and member supported channel, so if you want to become a member and unlock custom badges and emojis, early access to my videos, and your name in the credits, then click the join button below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.